Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? This is Easy Pictures to Draw. I'm Enrique. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a question that I got within the comment section, and I wanted to address it because it's actually a question I've gotten a few times before. And they said, how do you gain confidence? How do you gain confidence to do caricatures? You know what I mean? How do you do that? Because if you don't have that confidence, what are you going to do? How do you attain that confidence? And I'm assuming these are for people that. This is for really people who want to work in it, who want to do them at parties and stuff like that, who actually want to get paid to do them from life. You know what I mean? I can just tell you how I got it, and maybe we can extrapolate kind of how is a way that you can replicate that. So first off, I started drawing at about, oh, by the way, while I'm doing that, I'm just going to kind of doodle around. You know what I mean? I didn't really know what to put on the screen, so I'm just going to kind of doodle around while I'm doing that. So I started drawing at about 18. That was when I started drawing. I started pretty late, and all I did was kind of a fine art kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I did drawing from life, but it was with charcoal, and they gave you 3 hours. You know what I mean? It was a very different thing, and than this. And so 3 years into it, I thought I was good enough to work somewhere, and what came up was this caricaturing job at SeaWorld. Somebody had kind of told me about it. My friend told me about it. He said it's simple. You're outdoors. You're at a theme park. You know what I mean? You're talking to people all day. So it's a very social art job, which is kind of what I wanted at the time. And so I tried it out. And the way they did it was they did it through an audition. It's like a 2-week training. And what happens is if you make it to the end of that training, then they kind of hire you. This is like, again, only the commons, the SeaWorld stuff. It's a theme park here in California. I don't know how other places do it, but you know what I mean? They wanted to know that you could get good at it. You didn't have to be good at it right off the bat. They wanted to know you could get good at it. And so I got this job at SeaWorld, and I was pretty nervous, right? It's a whole different thing when someone's sitting in front of you. They're paying you to do it, but they're sitting in front of you, and you have only a few minutes to do it, really. And I remember the very first caricature I did, I was shaking like crazy. I could not stop my hand from shaking. You know what I mean? Like I could barely put down, marker to paper. I remember I was so freaking scared, and it wasn't even a conscious thing. I felt scared, but I didn't feel that scared. Like I don't shake a lot. You know what I mean? But that's ended up what happening. The caricature was okay. It was fine, and you know what I mean? Luckily, the way that system worked there was that in a theme park, you're drawing 30 people a day. You know what I mean? You're drawing a lot of people. So they kind of throw you into the midst of it. And that's kind of what happened was I started, over time, I had no, I would say about 3 months in, I was doing very competent caricatures. Before that, it was kind of like, oh no, I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? But they all kind of worked out. 3 months in, that's when you're pretty competent. You know what I mean? You can do some pretty, you got your rhythm down, you got your basic drawing down, you got your, you know what I mean? You got those things that you do, those little tricks that, everybody's got their own bag of tricks, you know what I mean? You got that kind of stuff. Maybe you're not pro yet, but you're competent. You're very competent. There's no more I can talk freely while I'm drawing. That's another thing that kind of happened. Because in the beginning, I couldn't talk and draw at the same time. It was like hard. I had to think about it. 3 months in, that stuff went away. But that was like 30 to 40. That was during the summer, so we were getting constant business, like 30 to 40 live caricatures a day. And I had no choice but my confidence to go up. And that's kind of how I built mine. Ultimately, that was the foundation. After that, it was more of like, how much do I want to build this skill? And that skill, I stayed there for a few more years, and I kind of broke certain plateaus within caricaturing for sure. There's also, you can grow in 2 ways, like I mentioned in other videos. You can grow as a salesman, or you can grow as a artist, or, obviously you're kind of growing those both at the same time. And I think I hit the point where I was like, okay, I'm okay at this. I'm pretty good at this artistically, and I am pretty good at this sales-wise, and I think there's not a lot of room for me to grow anymore. You know what I mean? Unless I really want to commit myself for several more. So, that's pretty much how I gained the confidence to do that. Honestly, the biggest thing would be, the biggest takeaway with that would be just to do it. You know what I mean? Doing it. nothing's going to really replicate drawing from someone in life than drawing from someone in life, and you have the pressure on you, that kind of thing. But what I can recommend to you is something that a few friends of mine did, and I kind of started doing this later on within kind of my free time. I did it more to, you know, just to practice. But you can do this before, or if you don't have access to it. Honestly, the truth is, I'm tripping over my words, but a theme park is so good because you draw so many people, and you can learn from the other artists next to you. That is such a great thing to do. But if you don't have that in your area, you're not willing to do that, it's more of a hobby, I would say, like, do what I did for practice or what other guys recommended me to do, which is, you know, because they did it, go somewhere where there's a decent amount of traffic, and then set up a board and a chair. Make sure you get that chair, and start drawing people for free, just in black and white. Just in black and white. You know, you don't have to do color or anything like that. Just say, hey, how's it going? I'm practicing drawing caricatures from life, and I wanted to practice on you, and, you know, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes, and you can keep it if you want. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll take a camera and take a photo of it if I did one that I liked. But do that, and you're going to get a lot under your belt. You're drawing from real life, but it's for free, so you're not going to feel under the crazy, you know, it'll simulate the pressure, but not so much that it's going to be unbearable, you know what I mean, where they're paying you. And you get a whole lot of practice in. Be careful with this, okay? Be really careful with this. Go to a place that's not too populated. Go to a place that's populated enough, you know, but don't go places like empty. Because I've seen this turn into crazy stuff, you know, when you say essentially free caricature. I remember in the beginning, I was like, oh, nobody's paying attention to me. And then out of nowhere, like, you'd be shocked. Like, people gathered really quick, and then you got a line. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, wait a second, I said I was doing these things for free, and it's going to be really hard to pull away. So be smart about it. I picked a college campus. I thought that was really easy. You know what I mean? I set up in the corner right there, and, you know, there's a decent amount of traffic, you know what I mean? But people also got to go somewhere, so they're not going to, like, linger forever, which I like. But that's my recommendation. Just one trick. If you did like this advice, please thumbs up the button and share my channel, by the way. I am trying to grow this channel exponentially right now. And, you know, leave some ideas in the comments below, and I'll make videos on it. And I'll talk to you guys later on. See ya.
Wow.